Morning, grade 8, and welcome to the Mr. Hagen Show. Well, here we are, the day you have all been waiting for, when I, Mr. Hagen, gets to give you more work than you could ever imagine. All right, don't worry, it's actually not that bad. Well, in today's video, we will have our morning meeting, and then I will explain all of that amazing work that I get to give to you. And that work will wrap up our year together. First, our theme. Look to the Lord in his strength, seek his face always. Yesterday we read from Proverbs 28. I selected two verses, verses 5 and verse 13. Verse 5 says, "Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it fully." I picked this verse because we've just wrapped up our study of Habakkuk. And in Habakkuk, we've been focusing on the through line, justice seeker. And this passage really reminds me of the through line. And the through lines can be a bit complicated sometimes, but the Bible at times can make them very, very clear. So what do we do about justice? Well, justice is important, and the only way for us to fully understand it is to seek God. So seek God, and we will know justice. I also picked verse 13. Verse 13 says, "He who conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them finds mercy." I picked this one because it reminded me of the hiding place. It reminded me of the theme of forgiveness. Not necessarily the need for you to forgive others, but for you to ask others for forgiveness. I think it's something we don't do often enough, asking for forgiveness. But also this verse reminds us just the freedom that forgiving and confessing of our sins really gives to us. Today we are reading from Proverbs chapter 29. Keep the prayer requests coming, and don't forget to spend time with God today. All right, the work. Let's talk about the work. First of all, we will have our Zoom meeting today at 3. Our Zoom meeting will be a great opportunity for you to ask me any questions you have about the assignment. So please do ask. So make sure that you read all of the assignments today before our Zoom meeting. So if we are talking about them and people are asking questions, you know what we are talking about. All right, here we go. 5 things. Number 1, math. So first of all, the Gauss tests are getting much, much better. You guys are consistently scoring higher. You're kind of getting into the rhythm and pattern of these tests, which is why I've always liked to do more than one. So you should be able to see that there is patterns, that the tests use the same kinds of questions for each one. So that's great. And as I go through them, I'm making sure that for the most part, you guys are doing really well in section A. And that's kind of the focus. You want to do well in B, obviously. C, I don't really care about, but you guys are doing well. So that's great. So the final math assignment for the whole year is Gauss 2013. One more. All right, literature. So first of all, I forgot to mention how much I enjoyed your Proverbs theme slides and the slideshows you guys did on the Proverbs themes. They were really well done. Some were excellent, and they were done so well, in fact, that they inspired the Proverbs summative assignment. For your Proverbs summative assignment, you will create a slideshow to summarize all the learning we've done on the book of Proverbs. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. All of this can be found on the Google Classroom assignment. It's very clear. So first, you're going to create a slideshow. Your first slide is going to be a title page. You need to give it a catchy catchphrase or slogan or title. Don't just call it Proverbs. Okay? Call it something like Words from Wise Guys or Sluggards Beware. Something cool like that. Be creative. I'm looking for you to use color and be neat and use pictures and all of this stuff. So the main part of this summative assignment is what we call a top 10. When I was in high school, I used to really love creating top 10 lists. It was really made famous by a man called David Letterman in his night show, the top 10 lists. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be creating a top 10 list, your top 10 favorite verses from Proverbs. So each slide, so you're going to be creating 10 slides here. Each slide will be one verse. And you're going to do a backwards countdown. So after your title, you'll have number 10, and you'll have the verse. And you will explain why you like the verse, and you will also include pictures. So something very similar to the themes. Now, you can go back to any of your journals and pick any of those. You can go to the theme ones that you've done and grab some of those. But I want you to make it personal. That's what I'm looking for. These are your top 10 favorite verses from Proverbs. Which one's really connected to you? I'm looking for you to really expand on your reason why. So don't just say, I liked it, or it sounded cool, or it had the word sluggard in it. This is a large assignment, a big assignment. So take your time on it and explain why you like this verse. So you'll count down backwards until you get to number 1. The last slide then after your number 1 is a personal reflection on the whole unit. It has to be at least 1 paragraph. It needs to include kind of what your thoughts about the book of Proverbs. It can include a picture or two if you like, but it needs to be specific, personal, and mature. This is one of the last projects and assignments you're doing for me, so show me your maturity. So again, that's kind of the shortened version. It's all on Google Classroom. You'll figure it out. All right, in composition, you're fixing and correcting your rough drafts of your essays, and then you will just simply copy and paste them and then submit those into the assignment called Essay Final Draft. Some of you, this won't take long at all. Some of you a little bit longer, and others, well, you still haven't done a rough draft, so I don't know how you're doing this, so I don't know. Good luck with that. In history, you have our test on the story Expands. It's a Google form. It's all multiple choice or true and false. It's like 60 questions. It's a little big, but have fun. Bible, we're having a summative assignment on Habakkuk. And for the Habakkuk summative assignment, you're kind of taking a lot of the work you've already done and just kind of putting it into one slideshow for me. Nice and neat. I like nice and neat. So first, again, you have a title page. Again, be creative. Second, then, you are going to talk about justice seeker as the through line. So define it for yourself. Explain how Habakkuk is a justice seeker, how this unit has helped you understand what justice seeker is, that type of thing. And again, include pictures and stuff if you want. The third slide, then, is your poem, If I Were in Charge of the World. I'm going to ask you to copy and paste, but also to make some changes. See if you can make it better. See, now that the unit is done, is there anything you would change with it? And then also add pictures that relate to your poem. Slide 4 is called God's Big Picture, and that's from Habakkuk 2, when we took a look at verse 2, 14, and 20, this idea of God's big picture. So I want you to explain, first of all, write out those verses, explain what the big picture is, include pictures of the big picture, and again, be creative of how you do this. The fifth and last slide then is called Faith and Trust. It's what we've been working on for the last little while. So you are going to include your personal rewritten version of Habakkuk 3 verse 2 and the assignment I gave to you yesterday, Habakkuk 3, 17 and 18. Your personal statement of faith. So you're going to write that onto the slide. You're going to include pictures and make it nice and neat. And that's it. Now, don't be sluggards. Get this stuff done. It's easier for me as well if it's done earlier, but don't rush through it. You have 4 days. It all needs to be done by Saturday. So you still do have Saturday, but I don't want anyone handing stuff in on Sunday or beyond that. I really suggest that you start with the 2 tests. Take the Gauss test, take the history test, and then from there you can wrap up your essay. Like I said, some of you is not going to take very long. And then you can spend quite a bit of time on those 2 summative assignments, the 2 slideshows in literature and Bible. So that's should take you a little bit longer if you're putting the proper work and being creative. The summative assignments, make sure you are using all proper grammar, punctuation, spelling. These are big projects. And this is kind of wrapping up our year, not just a unit. So make sure that before you hand it in, you've read it, you've gone through it. All the pictures are clear, your fonts are clear, your backgrounds are easy to read. It's all neat, all of that stuff. It's all on the Google Classroom assignment. I'm marking you on all of that. So I have a marking breakdown for you as well, so hopefully that's helpful. All right, that's it. I hope you guys, I don't know what the right words I'm looking for, but may God bless you. And as you finish off our year together in these assignments. It's a lot of work, but I know you guys can do that. So we are wrapping up our studies of Habakkuk in Proverbs. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you have too. Your question of the day for today is, if you could study another book of the Bible with us as a class, what book of the Bible would you like to study? I'm Mr. Hagen, and I like cookies.